And a win for JPMorgan shareholders who are trying to stamp out discrimination happening at the bank. They wrote a proposal that could force an investigation at JPMorgan. The bank tried to fight it, of course, but despite that, the SEC recently ruled the proposal is allowed to go to a vote. These shareholders see evidence of political and religious discrimination. The proposal was filed by shareholder David Bahnsen. He's the founder of financial advisory firm the Bahnsen Group, which manages over $4 billion in assets. The proposal says that discrimination prevents the ability to participate in the marketplace equally. It says JPMorgan employees may be using labels, for example, like hate speech or intolerance, as an excuse to discriminate against religious groups, for example. And JPMorgan does have a history of ending business with conservative groups. In a previous open letter, 60 financial professionals accused the bank of punishing conservative account holders. We talked to one of those professionals, Scott Shepard. He's the director of the Free Enterprise Project. He sees discrimination happening at these big banks.
It has famously debanked all sorts of Republican organizations and groups and conservative organizations and groups, while failing to debank in a similar ways on the left. Debanking it is telling targeted parties, targeted organizations, that their accounts will be closed, that they can't get loans. I mean, we're going to see a lot more of this as these banks ramp up their social credit scores. That if you don't agree with their left-wing pieties, their woke pieties, you can't get a loan.
JPMorgan scored 15 out of 100 on the 2022 Viewpoint Diversity Score Index. This index is a ranking of how much companies respect political and religious views. And it seems like low scores are a trend with big banks. Wells Fargo scored 13 out of 100, Goldman Sachs 10, Citibank 8. And just a quick note, David Bahnsen sits on the advisory council of the Viewpoint Diversity Score. So what's the likelihood that Bahnsen's proposal will get enough votes? Because if it does, it will force an investigation into discrimination at JPMorgan. Director of the Free Enterprise Project, Scott Shepard, says, well, it's unlikely.
The people who control shareholder votes right now are, first, the duopoly of proxy advisory companies that are explicitly left-wing, foreign-owned, and that treat all proposals from center-right organizations as anti-social proposals and push against them, even if they're the same proposal the left-wing organization submitted.
Shareholders will vote on the proposal May 16th. We reached out to JPMorgan.